Hare Krishna. We'll start with the invocation. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Panchakalpatarupascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming. So, quick announcement is that next Sunday, 18th August, we will not have a class because my spiritual master, His Grace Vaisheshika Adhikari, will be in Toronto and we'll have a lot of services for him. So I'll send Srila Prabhupada lecture to listen to in lieu of the class. So today we will revise chapters 20 to 24, which is unit 12. So let's start with chapter 20.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. I am seeking permission from all the Vaishnavas present here, all the devotees, Srila Prabhupada Ji, all gurus in disciplic succession, Srimati Radharani and Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak on the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. Please forgive me for any mistakes or shortcomings in my presentation. I will try to present the summary of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 20, titled as Conversation between Maitreya and Vidura, which is divided into 4 parts. So this chapter describes the conversation between Shaunak Rishi and Sut Goswami in the Naimisharanya forest, where sages have assembled to hear the pastimes of the Lord. Shaunak Rishi inquires about Swayambhu Manu, who asking Sut Goswami that after earth was restored to its proper place by Lord Vara, what did Swayambhu Manu do to show the path of liberation to persons who were to take birth later on? He also inquired about Vidura, who was a great devotee and friend of Lord Krishna, and who gave up the company of his elder brother Dhritarashtra because he, along with his sons, including Duryodhan, played tricks against the desires of the Lord. In Purport, Prabhupada explains that a devotee may be tolerant regarding his own interests, but he should not be tolerant when there is misbehavior towards the Lord or the Lord's devotee. After leaving his home, which was full of politics and diplomacy, Vidura wanted to purify himself by traveling to all the sacred places. So eventually he arrived in Haridwar, where he met the great sage Maitreya Muni, who was well versed in science of spiritual life. Now Shaunak Rishi asked Sut Goswami about further conversation between Vidura and Maitreya Muni. So in the purport, Prabhupada emphasizes the importance of finding a person who knows the science of God, Tattvavit, which means one who knows the absolute truth. If one sincerely searches for the spiritual salvation, then Krishna, being situated in everyone's heart, give him the intelligence to find a suitable spiritual master. By the grace of spiritual master like Maitreya, one gets a proper instruction and advances in his spiritual life. It is explained that hearing about the pastimes of the Lord is exactly like bathing in the water of Ganga, for it can be free from all sinful reactions. Srila Rupa Goswami has enunciated that anything in relationship with Krishna is on the transcendental platform. If we can dovetail all our activities in relationship with Krishna, then we do not stand on the material platform, but always on the spiritual platform. Further, Sut Goswami inquired about what sort of devotees can be satiated by hearing the nectarian pastimes of the Lord. So Prabhupada ji has explained that devotees who are actually on the transcendental platform are never satiated by hearing the continuous narration of the pastimes of the Lord. Every time a devotee reads Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, new aspects of subject matter will be relished by a devotee. So Vidura further inquired about how did the Prajapatis, progenitors of living entities as Marichi and Swayambhu Manu, create according to the instruction of Brahma, and how did they evolve this manifested universe? Answering Vidura's question, Maitreya said, when the equilibrium of combination of three modes of nature was disturbed by unseen actions of the living beings, by Mahavishnu and by the influence of time, the total material elements were created. Prabhupada explains that the cause of material creation, the first cause is Devya, or the destiny of the conditioned soul. Another term used is Durvitarken, which means that no one can argue about when and how the conditioned soul became desirous of sense enjoyment, but the cause is there. As impelled by the destiny of Jiva, the false ego, which is of three kinds, evolved from Mahatat, where the mode of passion is strongest. From the ego, various groups of five elements then develop. Separately, unable to produce the material universe from these elements, so these elements combined with the help of energy of Supreme Lord were able to produce a shining egg. For over 1,000 years, the shining egg laid on the waters of the causal ocean in the lifeless state. Then the Lord Garbhodaksha Vishnu entered it. Then a lotus flower, effulgent like 1,000 blazing suns, sprouted from the navel of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Garbhodaksha Vishnu. The first living entity to come out was Lord Brahma, who is independently able to create the rest of the manifested universe. The Supreme Lord Garbhodaksha Vishnu then entered the heart of Brahma as a super soul. Then the Lord gave him the intelligence to create the universe as it was before. So Prabhupada ji in purport has explained that there are three principles form of Vishnu which are responsible for creation and maintenance of the universe. The first form is Karano Daksha Vishnu, second is Garbho Daksha Vishnu, and third one is Shiro Daksha Vishnu. So Karano Daksha Vishnu dwells in the Karano ocean, generating countless universe from a lot from his breath. Then Garbho Daksha Vishnu enters each universe, filling half with his perspiration and creating Brahma from a lotus sprouting from his abdomen. Finally, Shirodaksha Vishnu resides in the heart of every living being, including Brahma, imparting them with remembrance and intelligence according to their past actions and desires. Also in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Krishna confirms this in 15.15 that he is seated in everyone's heart, and by him remembrance and forgetfulness are possible. Now I will describe the different creations by Brahmaji, which includes various types of living entities and beings. So Brahmaji first created five types of ignorance from the conditioned soul from his shadow. The first one was tamis, andritamis, tamas, moho, and mahamoh. These covering envelop the soul and keep them in ignorance. So disgusted with these coverings, Brahmaji discarded this form of his body, and taking this opportunity, Yaksha and Rakshasas sprang from for possession of the body, which continued to exist in the form of night. And the night is the source of hunger and thirst. So these Yaksh and Rakshas, who are powerful and aggressive beings, were created by Brahmaji. Overwhelmed by the hunger and thirst, they became so wild and desperate that they tried to eat Brahma, shouting to each other not to spare him. Prabhupada ji has explained that even today, some people in the world act like these Yakshas and Rakshasas. In certain uncivilized cultures, there are stories or practices where people have been known to kill their elders, such as their grandfathers, and then have a feast by roasting and eating their bodies. Brahmaji, finding himself in a dangerous situation filled with anxiety and fear, asked them to not eat but protect him. He reminded them that he is the creator and therefore they are his sons. Later, Brahmaji then created the demigods. These are basically the divine beings who were shiny with the glory of goodness. Brahmaji then gave birth to demons from his buttocks, and they were very fond of sex. Because they were too lustful, they approached him for copulation. Explained in purport by Prabhupada Ji, those who can control or eliminate their sexual desires are said to rise to the level of demigods. On the other hand, those who are consumed by sexual desires are considered to degrade themselves to the level of demons. These demons are very fond of sex life. Brahmaji approached the personality of Godhead Krishna, asking for protection from these sinful demons. Whenever there is some trouble and Brahma has to approach the Lord, he can approach Shirodaksha Vishnu, as it is the grace of the Lord that whenever Brahma approaches about disturbances in the universe, the Lord gives him relief in so many ways. The Lord instructed Brahmaji to get rid of his impure body, and Brahma obeyed by giving up that body. This discarded body form transformed into evening twilight, which the Asuras mistook for a beautiful woman, admiring her and were infatuated with an appetite for sex. Prabhupada has explained that the difference between demons and demigods is that a beautiful woman very easily attracts the minds of the demons, but she cannot attract the mind of a godly person or a devotee. A godly person is full of knowledge, and a demoniac person is full of ignorance. The difference between material and spiritual enjoyment is that the material enjoyment is limited. And in Bhagavatam 5.5.1, it is stated that Brahma Saukya, spiritual happiness, which means Anant, which is unending. Later, Brahmaji created Gandharv and Apsaras. These are basically the celestial beings, which are the musician in the upper planetary systems. He then next evolved from his Lord, the ghost and fiends. Recognizing himself to be full of desires and energy, Brahmaji evolved from his own invisible form, the Sadhyas and Pitas, which are invisible form of departed soul. Sadhyas are divine beings associated with rituals and offerings, while Pitas are ancestral spirits. By his ability to be hidden from vision, he created Siddhas and Vidyadharas and gave them that wonderful form known as Antardhan. Admiring himself for his own reflection in the water, he evolved Kimpurushas as well as Kinnars. One day, uh, lying down, Brahma was worried that the process of creation was not progressing. His mood was all gloomy, and in this state, he abandoned that body too. From this discarded body, the hair that fell transformed into snakes. As the body continued to crawl, it gave rise to serpents and nagas with their hoods expanded. Later, when Brahmaji felt as if the objects of his life has been accomplished, at that time he evolved from his mind the Manus, who promote the welfare activities of the universe. Brahmaji, after performing intense penance, devotion, and controlling his senses, created great sages as his sons. He gave each of these sons a part of his own being, which was marked by deep meditation, spiritual power, and renunciation. So, with that, I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you once again for patience and attention. Hare Krishna.
Okay, super excellent. Anybody has any questions, comments, realizations for the Prabhu?
You did very well, Prabhu.
Very good recall value and revision, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, let me quickly summarize chapter 20 as well. So Canto 3 is titled The Status Quo. Unit 12 is titled Kardama Muni and Devahuti. Unit 12 covers chapters 20 to 24 and is on the advent of Lord Kapila. Lord Kapila is Krishna himself. The previous chapters 13 to 19 was a diversion on Lord Varahadev, resulting from when Vidura asked question about Swayambhava Manu, that Swayambhava Manu could not find earth, and then from Brahmaji's nostrils, Varahadev appeared. Brahmaji described Vaikuntha Loka, the reason for all the bad omens, the Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha taking birth, and Brahmaji started by describing Jai Vijay because demigods saw bad omens. And Maitreya Muni became ecstatic while describing Varahadev's pastime during Swayambhava Manu's Manvantra. Hence, Maitreya Muni also explained Neela Varahadev's pastime from the previous Chakshusha Manvantra, where only the fight of Varahadev and Hiranyakashipu, fight of Varahadev and Hiranyaksha happened. So chapter 20 is a continuation of chapter 12, discussion on the secondary creation. There is nothing new in this chapter 20. In chapter 20, Maitreya Muni also summarizes Sarga, primary creation, in a brief manner. The creation topic described in earlier chapters is described again here in chapter 20 in order to relate to Swayambhuva Manu's discussion. Chapter 20 is titled Conversation between Maitreya and Vidura. So Saunaka Rishi did not ask any new question. He just asked, please repeat what Vidura asked and what answers Maitreya Muni gave, because Saunaka Rishi is convinced that whatever doubts we have, Vidura would have already asked and Maitreya Muni would have clarified. Hence, Saunaka Rishi did not ask any new questions. Vidura inquires, what did Swayambhuva Manu do after Earth was placed in orbit? Now, this going to the holy dhams, at holy place, the intent should be to meet a pure devotee, hear Krishna's pastimes. But if one is going just to take bath in a holy river, that will not have significant benefit. There may be tiny benefit by taking bath in the holy river, but not a significant benefit. If one is sincere, then Krishna will guide one to approach a bona fide spiritual master. And reading Bhagavad Gita is more important than going to Ganges, because Bhagavad Gita is from Krishna's mouth, and devotees are never satiated from hearing Krishna Katha again and again. Vidura is asking about Visarga, secondary creation, because chapter 12 was about Visarga. Then chapter 13 onwards was a detour about Varahadev's pastime. So to maintain continuity from chapter 12, Vidura asked what Brahmaji did to continue Visarga. Maitreya Muni then first summarizes Sarga, primary creation. So Sarga, primary creation discussion from Canto 2, Chapter 5, and then Canto 3, Chapter 5 is summarized here in brief, that by Mahavishnu's glance, it agitated the Mahatattva. Then false ego mixed with different modes, various elements were manifested and various other items were manifested. All these individual items, meaning the 5 great elements, the individual mode of goodness, the passion, ignorance, false ego, all these individual elements were sitting in unmixed state. Then Garbhodakshay Vishnu entered the universe to activate creation. Srila Prabhupada explains the word Durvitarkaina, meaning one cannot determine when soul became conditioned. Hence, Srila Prabhupada says in lectures that soul is conditioned since time immemorial. Srila Prabhupada explains that when a house is on fire, there is no use to experiment what is the reason for fire. Just get out of fire. Material world is fire. Hence, don't try to analyze the material world. Just focus on getting out of the material world. And then Brahmaji started secondary creation, Visarga, which is described. First, from his shadow, Brahmaji creates 5 kinds of ignorance. First is Tamishra, meaning anger. Then Andha Tamishra means considering death to be ultimate end due to ignorance. Then tamas, not knowing about spirit soul, is tamas. Moha, illusion of bodily attachment, family, nationality. This is moha. And Mahamoha is mad after material enjoyment. Brahmaji was not satisfied and he gave up his body after creating these 5 kinds of ignorance. And giving up the body means giving up the mentality. And then from each part of Brahmaji's body, different beings got created. So from ignorance, Yakshasha and Rakshasa got created and they accepted night, hunger and thirst as their possession. Then from goodness, demigods got manifested and they were created during day. Srila Prabhupada explains the difference between devotee and demon is that demons do not want to follow any higher authority, while devotees approach spiritual master with inquiries. Then from Brahmaji's buttocks, demons got manifested and they accepted twilight as their possession, and they were full of lusty desires. They took twilight as a beautiful girl. From beauty, Gandharvas and Apsaras got manifested and they accepted moonlight as their possession. From laziness, Bhutas and Pishakas got manifested. They attack impure persons. From the invisible form, the Pitras got manifested, and from power, the Sadhyas got manifested. They accept Shraddha offerings. From Antardhana, Siddhas and Vidyadharas got manifested and they accept being invisible. From reflection, Kimpuras and Kinnaras got manifested. They praise Brahma in the dawn. Then from anger, from the hair, the snakes got manifested, and from hands and legs, serpents and nagas got manifested, and they are cruel beings. From his own form, meaning his own mind, Brahmaji's mind, Manu got manifested and he performed sacrificial actions. And from parts of his own body, the great sages were manifested and who did samadhi, yoga, riddhi, tapa, vidya, and virakti as their activities. That's a quick summary of chapter 20. Any questions, comments, realizations? Okay. Mother Chicha is going to do chapter 21. Mother Chicha has some drawings, so I will share the slides as well as we go along.
Hare Krishna. Can I start, Prabhu?
Go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. My obeisances to our Jagat Guru, Srila Prabhupada Ji. Kindly forgive me for any mistakes or shortcomings in my presentation. Canto 3, Chapter 21, verses 1 to 32. Vidura inquires about Manu dynasty. Vidura was a great devotee of Sri Krishna. Vidura was the son of Vyasadeva and uncle of the Pandavas. The history of Swayambhuva Manu begins from the Varaha age or millennium when the Lord appears as a boar. Swayambhuva Manu was elevated in every respect, having the opulences of religious performance, ruling power, cleanliness, and other good qualities. The two great sons of Swayambhuva Manu, Priyavarta and Uttanapada, were great pious kings who had spiritual knowledge and protected their subjects. Their deeds are recorded as their activities are worth hearing. Vidura inquired about Kardama Muni and his wife Devahuti. Commanded by Lord Brahma to beget children in the world, Kardama Muni practiced penance on the banks of the river Saraswati for a period of 10,000 years. This was possible for those in Satya Yuga who lived for 100,000 years. Perfection is attained for those who are surrendered souls to Sri Krishna, and Kardama Muni was able to see the eternal blissful transcendental form of Sri Krishna. Kardama Muni saw the Lord was effulgent as the sun, wearing a garland of white lotuses and water lilies. The Lord was clad in a spotless yellow silk, and his lotus feet was fringed with locks of curly hair. Adorned with a crown of earrings, his characteristic conch disc and mace in 3 of his hands, and a white lily in the 4th. The form of Krishna is described in the Vedic literature as Brahma Samhita. Kardama Muni addressed the Lord as Shukla, which means the leader of religion. One must follow the rules of religion as it is prescribed by the Lord himself. Kardama Muni wanted to live a life of piety, follow religious principles, marry a girl of like disposition, life to be lived peacefully for elevation to higher status of spiritual realization. Sri Krishna had already arranged for the fulfillment of Kardama Muni's desires. Krishna never disappoints a sincere devotee. The Lord selected a wife for Kardama Muni. The girl Devahuti was the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa. A Brahmana like Kardama Muni could marry the daughter of a Kshatriya in those days. Such intercaste marriages were allowed in those days. Devahuti was a yoga lakshana, advanced in yoga and self-realization. Swamsa Kalaya means the Lord would appear as the son of Devahuti and Kardama Muni as Kapila Deva, the first propounder of Sankhya philosophy. The godly Sankhya philosophy is propagated by Kapila Dev. It is the duty of a householder to learn about Sri Krishna from his sannyasi spiritual master. Man mana bhav mad bhakta mad yaji mam namaskro. A Krishna devotee must think of Sri Krishna every second. Krishna is always merciful towards his devotees. There is never any frustration for a real devotee. The Lord fulfills the desires of materialistic people also. If one worships Krishna, he will gradually become a pure devotee and have no more material hankerings. Thank you, Jai Shri Krishna. Prabhu, shall I read the drawings, Prabhu?
Yeah, for sure.
page 1, Sri Krishna, the Paramatma, is the reservoir of all existence. Sri Krishna sends Brahmaji as his first creation at Jiva Tattva level. Brahmaji's son is Swayambhuva Manu. Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa are given the responsibility of populating the world. Swayambhuva Manu had two sons, Priya-Rata and Uttanapada, who ruled the whole world. Second drawing, the Lord selected a wife for Kardama Muni. She was Devahuti. Lord Brahmaji tells Devahuti, the Supreme Lord is now within your womb. He is Lord Kapil Dev. Third, Lord Kapila preaches the Sankhya philosophy. Lord Kapila is Lord Krishna. Fourth, the science of Krishna consciousness. One gets the same result by worshipping the statue of the Lord in a temple or the Lord himself. This is the science of Krishna consciousness. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Super excellent. Anybody has any questions, comments, realizations for Madhajija?
Lot of innovative approach, more than usual visual communication.
As usual, visual communication is very good, Prabhu.
Okay. Let me summarize chapter 21. Chapter 21 is titled Conversation between Manu and Kardama Muni. Vidura inquires about the dynasty of Swayambhuva Manu. Now, Vidura is not interested in materialistic person who are simply focused on procreation only. But because Swayambhuva Manu and Kardama Muni are not ordinary personalities, hence he is inquiring about Swayambhuva Manu, even though Swayambhuva Manu is a Grahastha and Vidura is a renunciate. So Lord will be appearing as son of Kardama Muni and Devahuti. Hence there is a direct connection with the Lord. Hence this is not unwanted subject matter. Maitreya Muni starts describing from Devahuti and Kardama Muni. Kardama Muni did austerity for 10,000 years because Kardama Muni wanted to fulfill instructions of Brahmaji to procreate. Whenever Grahastha responsibility or ruling responsibility is given to a responsible personality, generally they will first go in for meditation for some 10,000 years. Generally this is possible in Satyuga, where the lifespan was very long. In Kali Yuga also, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned, if anyone wants to enter Grahastha ashram, then first get trained in Brahmachari ashram. Then they can lead a very exemplary Grahastha life. First, it is to practice celibacy. Then finally, Supreme Personality of Godhead gave darshan to Kardama Muni, and Kardama Muni offered beautiful prayers to Lord, as well as Lord explains the future plan. Now from the darshan, it's the same description everywhere in Srimad Bhagavatam, that when devotee offers prayers, does austerities and get darshan. For example, Dhruv Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj, Prachetas, they all got darshan of the Lord, and it's the same Lord, and therefore the description is same, with the yellow dhoti, dark blue transcendental body, golden crown, four-ended Vishnu form, Vijayanti Mala, fish-shaped earring, Shrivasta mark on chest. Everywhere the description is same because it is the same personality. And you can judge next time you go to the temple that Gopinath is dressed in the temple based on what is described in scriptures. Kardama Muni bowed down to the Lord, his heart full of love, in ecstasy, and he immediately started offering prayers and welcoming the Lord. So one of the prayer talks about desirable desires are that we should situate in the mode of goodness for achieving pleasure by engaging in service of the Lord. Another prayer, Kardama Muni condemns less intelligent materialistic desires because sense gratification is available even to cats and dogs. Plus, one misses the chance to attain perfection of going back home to Godhead. So those who aspire for material enjoyment by practice of yoga, they have spoiled their brain substance. Intelligent practitioner of yoga should aspire for nothing else but to cross over the nescience of material world by worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead and to see the lotus feet of the Lord. Kardama Muni condemned material desires, but Kardama Muni himself is also making material desires of a wife. And Lord may ask then, why don't you worship me without material desires? But Kardama Muni was on a purpose to create progeny and widen population. Kardama Muni has a clear understanding that I should not ask anything material. Still, Kardama Muni asked material desire of a wife because satisfying Brahmaji's instruction, and Brahmaji would have asked the Lord as to what is the duty he needs to do. Therefore, Kardama Muni's material desire is actually to serve you, O my Lord. And materialistic people, if they give up stereotype activities and take up Krishna Katha, then they can get relieved. Lord might have questioned that although you are trying to fulfill Brahmaji's instructions, still there are others like Sanat Kumar and Narad Muni who transgress all the rules for higher purpose. They transgress fulfilling order of the Father. They transgress fulfilling orders of higher authority. Then why don't you, Kardama Muni, also follow the path of Sanat Kumara and Narad Muni? Kardama Muni's intention is that he wants to fulfill Brahmaji's instruction, plus also surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord, just like Priyavarta Maharaj. Kardama Muni did not follow Sanat Kumara and Narad Muni's path because Kardama Muni heard Brahmaji's reaction that Brahmaji got displeased from Sanat Kumaras. Kardama Muni may not follow the path of Sanat Kumara and Narad Muni, and it may appear that he is ordinary materialistic person living in a Grahastha ashram. But still, Kardama Muni will be surrendered to Lord's lotus feet, and he says that I will be engaged in discussing Krishna Katha constantly. Hence, Kardama Muni says, time does not affect devotees, and I can continue to remember Lord's pastime. I can continue to be engaged in hearing Krishna Katha, and I will not be affected. And Kardama Muni has this kind of confidence. Therefore, it explains that if materialistic people, if they give up stereotype activities and take up Krishna Katha, then they will get relieved from the pangs of material existence. So the Lord, as Bhagwan, gave personal audience and said to Kardama that your desires is already granted. The Lord said that I am in the heart as Paramatma. Past, present, and future desires are already fulfilled. Now, how do you reconcile Srila Prabhupada's point that in every transaction of material existence, we have to pray to Supreme Personality of Godhead? So the question is whether praying for every transaction to the Lord is okay. We have to take these things carefully under the instruction of spiritual master. and we should be guided by spiritual master. And we need to clarify at every step. When we get confused, it is better to clarify from spiritual master. And Kardama Muni is the best example that Kardama Muni had confidence that I want to follow Brahmaji's order. I want to give satisfaction to Brahmaji and not sorrow. I want to be obedient. And at the same time, I also want to follow the example of Sanat Kumara and Narad Muni, that they took up the path of bhakti and they surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord. Therefore, although I will get into married life, but I will also surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord. Kardama Muni is the best example. He fulfilled Brahmaji's instruction, and immediately after fulfilling, Kardama Muni left after the 9 daughters and son Kapila came. Immediately, Kardama Muni prayed to Lord Kapila, and Kardama Muni left. Lord Kapila also blessed Kardama Muni, that even when Lord is there, Kardama Muni left, that Kardama Muni said, I fulfill the order of Brahmaji to enter into Grahastha ashram. Now son is born, son will take care of wife. Hence Kardama Muni immediately left to go to forest. Therefore, Kardama Muni's life is the best example. So in this same mood, we should act. There is nothing wrong for praying for material transactions, but focus should be that it should enable us to take shelter of the Lord, should enable us to increase our Krishna consciousness. And this Krishna consciousness focus, we should not compromise. With this goal and purpose in mind, praying for every transaction of material existence, there is nothing wrong to fulfill material desires. The purpose and the goal is important. That for what purpose you wanted this material desire to be fulfilled. But if Krishna conscious purpose is lost, then our focus will be lost. Kardama Muni got a wife beyond his expectation. Kardama Muni did not have any preference for wife. He just wanted a wife to satisfy Brahmaji's desires. Kardama Muni said, I want a wife, that's all. Kardama Muni was simply dependent and relying on Krishna's choice and Krishna's will. So for a spouse with like disposition, the external attributes should not be the criteria in selecting the spouse. Rather, spiritual advancement should be the criteria. Then the Lord left and Manu arrived with Devahuti. There's a beautiful description of how Lord shed tears by seeing the affection of Kardama Muni. Lord's tears got mixed in Bindu Sarovar. Hence it is auspicious to take bath in Bindu Sarovar. Kardama Muni receives and glorifies Swayambhuva Manu. This is a quick summary of chapter 21. Any questions, comments, realizations? Okay. So chapter 22, we don't have any devotees presenting. So I will summarize chapter 22. It's a short summary. Canto 3, chapter 22 is titled The Marriage of Kardama Muni and Devahuti. Kardama Muni glorified Swayambhuva Manu in the previous chapter, and now Swayambhuva Manu glorifies Kardama Muni. This is the nature of devotees. Kardama Muni, although superior, does not have to offer obeisances. Still, Kardama Muni offered obeisances to Swayambhuva Manu. And Swayambhuva Manu did not think that he is superior. Therefore, Swayambhuva Manu also offered respects. Kardama Muni never instructed Swayambhuva Manu. Rather, Kardama Muni only glorified, but still Swayambhuva Manu took it as instruction. Swayambhuva Manu gives 6 reasons for Kardama Muni to accept Devahuti. Reason 1, my daughter is sister of Priyavrata and Uttanapada, means is from a great family. Reason 2, she is seeking a suitable husband in terms of age, character, and good qualities. Reason 3, when she heard from Srila Narad Muni about you, Kardama Muni, she fixed her mind upon you. Reason 4, she will be a suitable wife for you in every way for duties of household life. Reason 5, it is not good to deny what has come on own accord by the will of providence. Reason 6, you Kardama Muni have not taken a vow of perpetual celibacy and you have decided to get married. This reason number 5 about whatever comes of own accord by providence, one should accept that this offer is coming on own accord by the will of providence because Supreme Personality of Godhead has given personal instructions to me, meaning to Swayambhuva Manu as well as to you Kardama Muni. Swayambhuva Manu saying, I have heard from the Lord that Lord gave darshan and direct order to you also, Kardama Muni. In the name of taking sannyas, don't reject Lord's order because you also had desire to get married. If later you want to get married to someone else and if they refuse, then will be shame on you. Hence, please accept. I, Swayambhuva Manu, have also come voluntarily, and it is not good to deny what has come on own accord by the will of providence. In response, Kardama Muni says, I will accept Devahuti with one condition. I will be with her till there is offspring. Now, a question may be asked to Kardama Muni that your father asked you to procreate and not to take renunciation. Therefore, Kardama Muni's answer is that higher than Vanaprastha and Sannyas is the practice of bhakti. You, Swayambhuva Manu, may be higher than me, but I have to accept the highest order of the Lord. Then Kardama Muni marries Devahuti and Manu returns. As well as towards the end of the chapter, Swayambhuva Manu's wonderful rule is also described. That's a quick summary of chapter 22. Any questions, comments, realizations? Okay, number 23 chapter.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I am doing 3.23. Hare Krishna. All devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parambara. Sri Radha and Krishna seeking permission to and able to speak. The title is Devotee's Lamentation, which means sorrow, based on spiritual realization for love of God. This chapter has got 4 significant parts. 1, Kardama Muni pleased with the devotee's service. 2, devotee's request to Kardama for a child. 3, devotee and Kardama enjoyed and gave birth to 9 daughters. And 4, devotee pleased to Kardama to stay back and had a wonderful, which has got wonderful instructions. The divine message in this chapter is significant by devotee's lamentation. Despite opulence upbringing. Subsequently, Kardama Muni's her husband gave her best kind of material enjoyment. She was not aware that Kardama Muni was so advanced in spiritual realization. She did not utilize the opportunity for her spiritual advancement and confident to be liberated by his benediction. Chapter 23 has got wonderful instruction. One is chemistry of ideal chaste wife. How Kardama Muni fulfilled the promise to Brahmaji to make children through her womb, who nicely pleased her husband in his spiritual pursuits. Satisfied, Kardama Muni asked Devahuti whatever boon she wanted and got 9 daughters. Devahuti feared that her daughters would live after their marriage. Who will look after in her old age? Indirectly pleaded for a son, which Kardama Muni granted by the mercy of the Lord. Lot of devotees' characters are caste, purity, mind, sense control, and sweet words, working diligently, desiring good for the husband's Kardama Muni's pursuits. Pleased with this service. If the husband is a Vaishnava, wife naturally shares the devotional service of the husband. The reciprocation of service and love is the ideal householder's life. Then life becomes perfect. Kardama Muni tells Devahuti by her selfless service, she has neglected her body. Also tells her that he will give her spiritual vision of knowledge for spiritual advancement, austerity, meditation, and Krishna consciousness. By his grace, Devahuti experienced actual realization simply by serving. Example, Narada Muni was elevated since he was serving the devotees and eating the remnants of the foodstuff. Sincere disciple, by serving bona fide spiritual master, can achieve the mercy of the Lord and Master. Achieving the love of God is the perfection of life. The second one is Devahuti requests Kardama for a child. Devahuti knew that her husband is very much advanced and under protection of Yoga Maya in transcendental devotional service, and expect in offering gifts which are beyond ordinary, hence asked for a child. Kardama achieved the powers not due to yoga, but due to devotion. To please his wife, created an aerial mansion, which is a desire-fulfilling vehicle. They travel in that heavenly vehicle and had 9 daughters at one time. The multi-storied building has been there for many years, but current people think it is the modern concept. As per the request of Devahuti, the opulence was produced, which astonished Devahuti and even the yogi himself, how yogi's power is exhibited. Devahuti, emaciated, engaged in service to her husband and neglected to care her body, bathed in auspicious Lake Bindu Sarovar, as per the advice of Kardama, regains her beautiful body and luster by the grace of Lord Vishnu. Since his tears got mixed with the river, is the significance. Despite their travel in all directions of the universe, like the demigods, and enjoyment in this splendid aerial mansion, they did not forget to chant the name of the Lord. Despite his mystic power, Kardama Muni remained as a devotee of the Lord always. Nothing is impossible for a great devotee like Kardama Muni, who has taken to shelter of the Lord lotus feet of the Lord. After traveling all over the universe with devotee, he returned to his hermitage. He granted that she wanted many children, 9 daughters at one time, in the womb of her. All of them resembled a lotus flower with the fragrance of red lotus flower. The fourth one, devotee pleased to Kardama to stay back. Kardama Muni, since he finished all his household affairs, including getting children, he wanted to leave home for his real spiritual destination. Devotee, as a surrendered soul, desired the last towards to beget a son. Since the daughters will go away to their respective home, in her old age she will be relieved of her anxieties. Devotee felt guilty that she did not utilize the advancement of spiritual matters for enlightenment by Kardama Muni's association. Association with devotees leads to knowledge without realization. Devotee was grateful despite her wanting to associate with Kardama for sense gratification. She was sincere, liberated person from material entanglement by his benediction. The cause of bondage in the material world is due to lack of devotional service. From the beginning, as his natural activity, one is gradually elevated to the position of devotional service. He is considered to be a dead body and works, if does not lead to Krishna consciousness, is useless. Unlike animals, human form of life, born in a family of cultivation of spiritual knowledge and exposure of association with saintly person, one will get liberation from the entanglement of material energy. One should worship Supreme Personality of Godhead by one's assets. Hare Krishna. This is my humble submission, Prabhuji.
Okay, super excellent. Anybody has any questions, comments, realizations, Frank? Okay, let me summarize chapter 23. Canto 3, chapter 23 is titled Devahuti's Lamentation. This chapter 23, the initial part, has wonderful instruction for a chaste wife, and the characteristics of a chaste wife are described. So, some of them are chastity, understanding, desires of husband, great love, intimacy, purity of mind and body, great respect, sense control, love, sweet words, giving up lust, pride, envy, greed, sinful activities, and working diligently. Kardama Muni got pleased with Devahuti's service and said that while serving, you, Devahuti, neglected your body. Even when people have so much attachment for their body, they decorate their body, but you, Devahuti, gave up just for serving me. Therefore, Kardama Muni is pleased. And Srila Prabhupada says this is called selfless service. Kardama Muni said to Devahuti, I will give you vision. Giving vision means giving spiritual knowledge and spiritual advancement. Devahuti got love of Godhead as a gift from her husband because of loyalty to husband. And as soon as Devahuti got this gift of love of God, Devahuti became humble. And Devahuti got a chance that Kardama Muni right now is highly pleased. Devahuti also understood the mood of Kardama Muni, that Kardama Muni is so compassionate. Hence, Devahuti said, let me use this as an opportunity to speak to Kardama Muni. Hence, Devahuti reminded Kardama Muni's promise to Swayambhava Manu and to Brahmaji and to the instruction of Supreme Personality of Godhead and Devahuti wanted the great personality in her womb. Devahuti and Kardamamuni enjoy, and they gave birth to 9 daughters. And even while enjoying, Kardamamuni and Devahuti did not forget to chant and remember the Lord. Kardamamuni achieved such powers to get the aerial mansion to fulfill all desires because of his being a devotee and not because of his proficiency in yoga. Devahuti say that her body is emaciated, and Kardamamuni fulfilled desires of Devahuti. Kardamamuni advised Devahuti to take bath in Bindu Sarovar because Bindu Sarovar is created by Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu's tears are mixed in Bindu Sarovar. Lord gave darshan to Kardamamuni on the banks of Bindu Sarovar, and by seeing the great devotion of Kardamamuni, Lord Vishnu's tears got mixed in Bindu Sarovar. Hence, this Bindu Sarovar is very powerful lake. You just take bath and your whole outlook will be changed immediately. So Kardamamuni begot 9 daughters. He fulfilled the promise that he gave in Canto 3, chapter 21, verse number 19 of impregnating Devahuti. So now Kardamamuni wanted to leave home for his real concern of spiritual realization. Hence, Devahuti appeals to Kardamamuni to stay back because daughters will get married and they will move out. Therefore, Devahuti wants a son. So Kardamamuni stayed back for some time to beget a child. Devahuti, feeling that she did not utilize Kardamamuni's advanced association, Devahuti said that she should have inquired from Kardamamuni about a lot of spiritual subject matters to get enlightened, but did not utilize Kardamamuni's association properly. And one verse as the comparison of association between materialistic people and devotees, that association of materialistic people, whether in ignorance or in knowledge, it leads to entanglement. While association with devotees, even if in ignorance, it leads to liberation. That's a quick summary of chapter 23. Any questions, comments, realizations? Okay, 24th chapter.
Prabhuji, in this chapter, Devotee's lamentation has got a lot of reality in my own personal life. And now I am passing various stages of life. And now, by the mercy of Lord, I am now in the spiritual realization stage, rather just a beginning. And that's how I never dreamt that I'll be in Toronto, and that too have the privilege of participating in these classes. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, very good realization, and very good that you are at the spiritual endeavors. And this is all because initially Uncle did not attend the classes. He simply used to hear the Prabhupada lectures that Mother Chandranti used to get. But this is what happens with hearing. When you hear from bona fide Acharya, you transform. So this is super excellent transformation. Thank you for sharing. Okay, Chandran Prabhu, 24th chapter.
Hare Krishna. All glories to His Divine Grace, Sri Prabhupada, Guru Parampara, and Sri Radha Krishna. Seeking permission from Guru and Gauranka to speak on the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 24. Requesting devotees assemble to forgive me for shortcomings. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namaha. Chapter 24 is the renunciation of Kadama Muni, which contains 7 parts, which I am going to present here only the 4 parts. The remaining another devotee said she will be going to recite. Text 1 to 4. Kadama instructs Devahuti. Kadama Muni pacified his wife as not to feel sorry for his separation and said the incarnation of Supreme Personality of Godhead will be delivered to her womb as a son. To please the Lord, he advised Devahuti to engage in devotional service with austerity and penance, continuing charity as religious principle. Kadama Muni instructed his wife, Devahuti, that the Lord would appear as a son and disseminate spiritual knowledge to cut the knot of material identification. The appearance of Lord Kapila. Kadama husband was intelligent enough that wife Devahuti gets great opportunity for spiritual enlightenment, but missed it. Lord is situated in everyone's heart. Devahuti accepted the husband as a spiritual master and followed his instructions to worship the Lord in good faith. Hence the Lord appeared out of her body as a son. Brahma is called Swayambhu because he is not born of a material father and mother. He is born as a first living creature from the lotus ground, from abdomen of Supreme Personality of Godhead, God Lord Vishnu. Brahma glorifies Kadama, Devahuti, and Kapila. Brahma acquired knowledge directly from Supreme Lord within the heart, therefore he is called Swarat and Aja. Sankhya philosophy is compiled by Kapila, which explains the material and spiritual world. Krishna appeared as Kapila Deva in a portion of his portion. That is the expansion. The expansion has no difference. Originally, Krishna is called as Parabrahma or the ultimate Godhead and cause of all causes. If a recognized devotee brings forth the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a son, he should be praised. Brahma worshipped Godhead of Kapila and also praised his so-called father, Kadama Muni. Brahma is spiritual master for everyone and creator of all beings. Kadama Muni exactly carried out instructions of Brahma and honored him. The father and spiritual master are on the same platform. The order of the father or the spiritual master must be carried out without hesitation, with an immediate yes. That is the real service to them. He is sure to become perfect. Brahma praised Kadama Muni's 9 daughters because they will increase the population and take charge of the creative principle of the material world. Brahma advised us, your daughters should be handed over to the respective rishis according to taste and character. Those days, parents used to astrologically determine the character and taste of the boy and girl. Brahma explained to Kadama that Godhead has appeared as an incarnation by his internal energy, assumed the body of Kapila Muni. The spiritual world is manifestation of his personal internal potency, whereas the material world is a manifestation of material energy. He is the bestower of all necessities of life upon the living entities. Godhead is not impersonal, he is also individual, but supreme individual. Kapila Muni's Sankhya system of philosophy is based on Jnana and Vijnana. Jnana means knowledge received from the scriptures. Vijnana means practical application of such knowledge. By studying his philosophy, people will be able to approve the deep-rooted desire for karma fruitive activities. The knot of Doubtfulness is tied when the soul identifies with the material world, called ahankara. By proper knowledge from scriptures and by proper application of that knowledge, one can free himself from this binding combination of matter and spirit. Brahma told Devahuti that your son will cut off the knots of your ignorance and doubt. Brahma told Devahuti as your son Kapila and his Sankhya philosophy will be accepted by the acharyas, expert in disseminating real knowledge among people. He will increase your faith. Departure of Brahmaji and marriage of Devahuti. Brahma is also known as Hamsa. Brahmaji went back to his abode above even Siddhaloka, upper planetary system, along with 4 Kumaras and Narada in swan-shaped plane. Maitreya told Vidura that after the departure of Brahma, as per the order of Brahmaji, Kardama handed over his daughters to 9 great sages who created the population of this world. All Kardama Muni handed off, after Kardama Muni handed over daughters to the 9 sages, Kala to Marisi, Anasuya to Atri, Saddha to Angira, Havirbu to Pulastya, Gati to Pulaha, Ches Kriya to Trati, Kyati to Riju, Arundhati to Vasista, Santi to Atharva. All left with joy, each of his own hermitage. I humbly submit to my presentation. Thank you.
Super excellent, Madhusudana Aunty.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, all devotees. My prayers to all Guru Parampara and Sri Sri Radha and Krishna and Srila Prabhupada, seeking permission and able to speak. Chapter 24, part 5, 6 and 7. Kardama Muni prayers to Lord Kapila. Lord Kapila is the expansion of Krishna. When Devahuti was lamenting that she wasted her life, Kardama pacified her, saying, Lord will appear in her womb and deliver her. Brahmaji was pleased with Kardama's activities by fulfilling his order and protects Lord's activities by teaching Sankhya philosophy. Kardama Muni takes the path of renunciation in the presence of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Kapila did not appear as a child, but as a grown-up sage. With humility, Kardama Muni meets Lord Kapila in a secluded place and glorifies him and starts saying that I am just an ordinary householder and your appearance in my house is only by your mercy. Kardama, being one of the very pure sage doing devotional service for a very, very long time, could meet the Lord at the secluded place. Lord, being completely independent, can appear in any form to support his pure devotees. There are four purposes for the Lord's appearance. Is to fulfill the promise. He appeared as a son of Kardama, to distribute the knowledge which will cut the knot which is holding the mind and body by Sankhya Yoga, to increase the honor of his devotee Kardama and Devahuti, because he never failed to show the affection, because Lord is Achyuta. In the presence of Lord Kapila, Kardama took sannyasa. The reason is his father's order is fulfilled, death is fulfilled, and he can remember the Lord continuously. I have fixed in my Kardama says, I have fixed in my mind that Lord is the master and I am the servant. So leaving the Lord is not an offense. Worshipable Lord is to be worshipped, depend on the worship. So I will continue to do so. As per in the Bhagavad Gita, Manmana Bhava Madbhakto. So Kardama is more eager to worship the Lord than to be with the Lord. So he completely his concentration is completely on Krishna consciousness. So part 6, response to Lord Kapila, responses of Lord Kapila to Kardama Muni. Kardama took sannyas in presence of the Lord by the Vedic principles to spread Sankhya philosophy to destroy avidya. Just like Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, here Kapila is talking about Sankhya knowledge. The important message here is, even in the presence of the Lord at home, one should continue devotional service. Kapila is giving permission to Kardama to go and do your desire, and soon you will become my associate. Lord Kapila assured Kardama that he will also describe this knowledge to his mother to attain perfection and self-realization, to free from all material fear. Thus, Kardama left without anxiety of his good wife by circumambulating the Lord and accepting silence, started traveling the globe, avoiding fire and shelter. All 18 principles for attaining knowledge and perfection are adopted by Kardama Muni. By doing so, Kardama got self-realization and attained the Supreme. That means he could see Paramatma in everything, always talking about Krishna consciousness, and focus more and more on devotional service. Thus, Kardama Muni, by his perfect devotional knowledge and service activity, achieved this ultimate goal, that is Bhagavati Gatha. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Okay, super excellent. Any questions, comments, realizations for Chandan Prabhu and Mata Chandanti?
Prabhuji, very good. All the points were covered, Prabhu.
Correct. Okay, let me quickly summarize chapter 24. Canto 3, chapter 24 is titled The Renunciation of Kardama Muni. Kardama Muni instructs Devahuti because Devahuti said in the previous chapter that Devahuti wasted her life. Devahuti should have used Kardama Muni's association for self-realization. Hence, Kardama Muni is specifying Devahuti that Supreme Personality of Godhead will appear in your womb. And this way, Kardama Muni is encouraging Devahuti that don't be sorry. Supreme Personality of Godhead is going to appear in your womb. Kardama Muni already blessed Devahuti and he blessed that whatever I achieve, you will also get. Still, Kardama Muni is saying to continue sadhana. This is an important lesson. There is no full stop to performing sadhana. We have to continue our sadhana even after attaining perfection. We have to continue our sadhana even after attaining spiritual world. We have to continue our sadhana. Brahmaji glorifies Kardama Muni that I am pleased with your activities. You have faithfully obeyed my instructions and I bless you. Supreme Personality of Godhead has already appeared and he will be known as Lord Kapila. Brahmaji explains Lord Kapila's future activities, that he will enlighten both you, Kardama Muni, and Devahuti. He will liberate you, Kardama Muni and Devahuti, and you both will go back to Godhead in this life itself. Brahmaji appeared and worshipped Lord Kapila and spoke to Kardama Muni and Devahuti also. So in front of the Lord, Brahmaji also glorified the devotees of the Lord, because Brahmaji knows the trick to glorify the devotee. Only then the Lord is pleased. Nowhere it is mentioned that Lord Kapila appeared as a child. Then there are no childhood pastimes of Lord Kapila. Lord Kapila appeared as a sage, hence Kardama Muni could speak to Lord Kapila in a corner. And Lord Kapila also spoke and blessed Kardama Muni. Lord Kapila has appeared to cut the hard knots of rootative desires and deep-rooted desires for work by teaching transcendental Sankhya Yoga. In Bhagavad Gita chapter 5, it's described that there is no difference between Sankhya and devotional service because goal is same. Sankhya means identifying the root, and devotional service means root is already identified. Now you are watering the root. The aim of both Sankhya and devotional service process is same. Srila Prabhupada explains three purposes of Lord's appearance as Lord Kapila as the son of Kardama Muni and Devahuti. First is to fulfill the promise, hence he appeared as son of Kardama and Devahuti. Second, to distribute knowledge, to cut the knot, because many people are guided that they are this body, so as to destroy this avidya via the Sankhya Yoga, because almost everybody is in this bodily consciousness. Third, to increase the honor of his devotee, increase the honor of Kardama Muni and Devahuti. Lord is Achyuta. Achyuta means never fails in showing affection towards his devotee, and Achyuta means he is infallible. Srila Prabhupada also explains the purpose of Sankhya is to destroy avidya, because people identify themselves as body. They are so much attached to fruitative desires. All ties we have to cut. Hence, Kapila spoke Sankhya philosophy. Then Brahmaji departs, and Narad Muni as well as the four Kumaras also went back with Brahmaji. They did not stay back because they are Naishtiki Brahmacharis, and Brahmacharis are not supposed to attend marriage ceremonies. The 9 daughters of Kardamuni and Devahuti got married to the sages, the sons of Brahmaji. Kardama Muni prays to Lord Kapila that yogis take so many births, then they get perfection, then they see the lotus feet. And Kardama Muni is showing humility that I got your audience, O my Lord, in one life. You came as son. I am not qualified. And this way Kardama Muni is glorifying the Lord. Now, sannyas is not required. Lord is going to speak Sankhya philosophy, which is, of course, devotional service also. Then why is Kardama Muni asking permission to leave when Lord himself is present in the home? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives 5 reasons that why in the presence of the Lord, Kardama Muni has to take sannyas. First is, the order of my father is fulfilled. Since you appeared as son, hence, my debt to my father Brahmaji is fulfilled. But I will continue to remember you. That's what Kardama Muni says as reason number 1. Second, that he is fixed in thinking Lord as master and that I am servant. I am in the Dasya Rasa. And Lord has appeared as son means that it becomes Vatsalya Rasa. So it's difficult to mix Dasya and Vatsalya Rasa. Third, anyway, the Lord is going to speak Sankhya. Lord will travel and leave very soon. So Kardama Muni will soon experience separation. Then why not today? Fourth, leaving the Lord is not an offense. Worshipable Lord is dependent on worship, and I am continuing worship. Hence, this is not an offense. Fifth is more eagerness to worship to Lord than seeing the Lord. Just like Vani is more important than Vapu, meaning following the instructions and doing devotional service is more important than living in your company, O my Lord. Srila Prabhupada also discusses the same point in his purports, that why Kardama Muni took sannyas in the presence of God. That God himself is present. Why did Kardama Muni leave? The answer is because Kardama Muni also wanted to follow Vedic principles. One of the reasons is at age 50 plus, one must leave family life. So Srila Prabhupada explains this very important and powerful lesson, that even in God's presence, as son, one should still follow Vedic instructions. So Lord Kapila is giving sanction and permission to Kardama Muni that go and do as you desire. And then Kardama Muni attained, Kardama Muni first renounced and then attained the kingdom of Godhead. It's a quick summary of chapter 24. Any questions, comments, realizations? So very good presentations by all of you. We are bang about 9:30 a.m. time, Toronto time. So next week, 18th August, there'll be no class. My spiritual master, His Grace Vaishyadas Adhikari, will be in Toronto. We all will be doing a lot of services. I will send Srila Prabhupada lecture to listen to in lieu of the class. So for our next class on 25th August, I request you all to please read Canto 3, chapter 25. Now these chapters 25 to 33 are on Kapila Siksha and are very, very heavy chapters. They are going to hit you very hard. So be prepared when you read and when we'll discuss. If it's okay, I would like to give quick feedback to Mother Jija and Dipanshu Prabhu. Are you okay with that for your learning?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So both Mother Jija and Dipanshu, you recited Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya recitation. This Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya recitation should be after the invocation that you did. Because Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya is offering obeisances to Lord Krishna. So you did the invocation properly, but the Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya should come after the invocation that you start with devotees, your spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, and then to Shri Radha Krishna.
Okay, Prabhuji.
And Dipanshu Prabhu, you can aim to be a little shorter. You don't have to go into a lot of details. Your presentation was super excellent. You can just, that's a...
10 minutes time was given to me, so I thought I should make it long.
All right.
Yeah.
We are just about at 9:30 a.m. Toronto time. Anybody has any questions, comments, realizations, or are we okay to stop?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna,
you
everybody.
once again. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. And all the devotees. Hare Krishna.